Hello, dear farmers. I hope that you're well. It's Barack Boa Goats. Um, Welcome to our channel. If you're new or if you're seeing me for the first time, once again, my name is Barack. I am based in Australia, but I do my goats farming in Uganda. So, like I said in my previous video, if it's the first time you're coming to my channel, my videos are going to be a little bit different from some of the goats farming videos that you'll be watching, because for a lot of videos, most educators tend to be at the farm and they do their videos in the actual farm, whereas for me, I am based in Australia and my farms are in Uganda, so you won't see a lot of I won't be at the field most of the times, but I'll be bringing you more videos of the farm as day goes by, whereas my videos will be just pretty much done over here in Australia. So if you're new for the first time, please feel free to subscribe to our channel. We need to spread the word to each other and encourage as many people into goats farming as possible, because there is a huge demand for goats farming, and that's across the world. The goat meat is one of the most consumed meat globally. It's much more softer, it's much more liked, unlike some something like pork, where there's a lot of taboos around it, even though still a lot of people still consume it. But goat's meat is very preferred across the board, so there's a big demand for it. There's also a big demand for breeding goats as well, especially the exotic goats. So please share the word of mouth. Let's try to get the word across as much as we can. It's a beautiful sunny day here, and today I'm gonna try and talk to you guys about the question which most people have been asking. I've got a lot of questions, a lot of inquiries about the question that goes, how many goats should one start with if you want to get into goats farming? A lot of people have been asking that question, and I thought today we can talk about it. So how big, what's the number of goats, how many goats should one person start with? So to answer that question, really, you have to look at it in this way. It depends on your budget, the type of goats you're going to start with, and again, so when I'm talking about the type of goats, I'm talking about the genetics. What kind of genes are you going to start with? Is it for meat production or is it for breeding? Generally breeding goats tend to be much more, I guess it's much more pricey, because the demand is very high. Yet, even if the beef is very high as well, but the price is different, Are you doing goat farming for experience? Do you just want to get experience, So assume that you start, let's say you start, we're gonna try and maybe have like two different cases or three. Case number one, assume you start with 10 goats of farming, which are actually local goats, right? You put them on a free range system. Put them on a free range system and get them a buck, right? Maybe pure Boa buck. Assume you're getting each goat at $100 US. The level of production for local goat is about 1 to 2 kids every 6 months. So if you're starting with 10 local goats, that means in 1 year you're probably going to have about 20 or maybe 40 kids if they're having 2 kids, right? If you're going to sell again at each kid at $100, you're not going to be making as much profits, Again, this is purposely for educational purposes. I'm not trying to discourage people to get into goats farming with the local breeds. I'm just giving you the education and informing you, and then you can decide on what you think is the best option, right? So remember, each kind of goat farming you're going to do, whether it's exotic, in which case it's maybe for breeding or for beef, whatever, you still need to have the structure, you need to have the land, and you need to have management. Every success for farming depends on the management. That's a big thing, right? After the genetics that you're gonna use as well. So if you if you pay for the management, the workers, for instance, 2 workers, for instance, say about, I don't know, maybe 50 Australian dollars or 50 US dollars a month, you end up finding out that you don't really make as much profit using the local, if you have if you start with like 10 local goats, you know. On the other side, case study number 2, if you have 10 pure goats, and say you buy them at $10,000 each goat, say at $1,000, each goat is going to give you about 2-3 kids, or sometimes 4 kids in a year. And so while you still pay for workers and everything, you're still going to make as much more profit, because remember, each kid is going to be sold at $1,000. So in other words, if you're having local goats, you're going to be losing out the money on the management. Now, I haven't talked about the money that goes through the feeds and all this kind of stuff, but overall, the point that I'm trying to make is that or the point that the message you should take home today is, someone who is chosen exotic breeds or boa breeds is much more likely to make more profits, whereas someone who starts with the local is going to make some profit, but not as much. Obviously, the good thing I find about the local, because myself I started with locals, is the experience. So once you've done it for a few years, you're gonna end up with some level of experience, in which case you're going to transfer from one kind of farming to another. So I started with 10 locals, mixed actually, they're quite mixed, a few boas and a few locals, and I've learned over the course, you know, been a few losses and all that kind of stuff, but obviously the profit actually kicks in when you have like much more exotic breeds. So my take home today is focused on the exotic goats, because they mature quickly. So if you really want to focus on beef production, you still get to make money out of it, but also you can target the breeders, the market for breeders, which is very, very high at the moment. Even in South Africa, where most of these boas do come from, boas are very much on demand, you know. Case scenario 3, which is going to be the last one, is when you buy, say, maybe you start with, say, about 50 local goats, and then introduce one full-blood boa. So that person who is introduced the boa is going to, again, to make more profit than someone who is got locals. So again, it goes back to the amount of money that you've invested into your goat farming, and what you want the goats for. What's the purpose for it? Is it for breeding? Is it for meat? Is it just experience? What is it that you're trying to do goats farming for? All right, so I will not really add so much. I will not make this video so much longer. I prefer to keep my videos at least 10 minutes the longest. I really hope that you've learned something on this video. If you haven't, please, or if you have anything you want to share with me, please feel free to add it down here in the comment section. And if you find this video productive or helpful, please go ahead and subscribe and like my videos and share them widely. Until next time, bye for now.